So now here we are in the vineyard, Shake Ridge Ranch, amongst the vines. First, let's talk about soil and this particular spot here in the Sierra Foothills. What makes it unique?
We dug, when we looked at the property, we dug 22 soil pits, 6 foot deep, and you get in them and you're looking at the layers and trying to figure out nutritionally wise what's going to happen, water retention, how the vines are going to grow, what the vigor's going to be like.
Okay.
Every single pit was different, okay? And it's unusual. We could find, the general concept is they're very deep soils, very well drained, low nutrition, all the things you want for high quality, low vigor but healthy vines.
So we're out here in winter. We noticed some clouds above head. You actually had some snow out here a couple weeks ago. So you see a lot of different temperature changes and weather patterns throughout the year. Can you kind of discuss that a little bit and what you see during not only the growing season, but the annual season?
Yeah, so cold winters, but not just particularly cold. But as long as a vine's dormant, they can handle down to 12 degrees.
Okay.
So as long as they go to sleep well, which means they're stored up a lot of carbohydrates,
right,
they can handle the winter. What's worrisome is in the springtime is when they wake up, you're trying to get them to stay asleep as long as possible. Because as soon as they wake up, if we have any nights below freezing, those little leaves will get frozen and the vine will push again. And that will happen to us. But if you can see where we planted, we always try not to plant at the bottom of the hills. Cold air moves like water. It sinks. And so the lower spots, you want what's called cold air drainage. And so the cold air will roll down to the bottom and go past the vineyard and pocket down there. So we do have a couple of spots that get frost, and we just deal with them. But late pruning, which means the later we can hold off pruning, it puts the vine in a little shock. They'll wake up a couple weeks later, and that'll give us a couple more weeks that we don't have to worry about spring frost. That and trying to plant on the hills. So that's kind of the spring frost issue. Summertime, we're in this. It's warm. It can easily be an average of 90, 95 during the day, but the difference is it cools down really nice at night. And if you can see, the Sierra Foothills is right behind us. In an hour, I can be up at 9,000 foot elevation. Well, that cold air comes down every evening in the summertime. It might be 100, 105. We'll still usually get down into the 50s and fast. So I've got little data loggers all over the place, and so I keep temperature data. But our temperature curves are pretty much, the sun comes up, the temperature goes straight up. Levels off and drops in the evenings. They look like horseshoes. And instead of on the coast, you'd have more of a gradual increase, almost to the same high, and then a slow decrease. And so that's a big change. And these big diurnal fluctuations tend to give you that good color, great tannin development, a big concentration without, they're very resolved tannins. So they're nice, soft wines. So we've got 46 acres planted and 14 different varieties. As a vineyard consultant, I would have never let anybody do this, but there's no neighbors, so I wanted to try everything. I couldn't look over the fence and see, so-and-so's happy with this. Working. So we planted the Syrah, like this block that we're looking at. I gave the Syrah the coldest seats in the house. So they got the north and the east facing slopes. Zinfandel was next because I like balanced Zins, and I try to keep them in the cooler spots, whereas Barbera, Mourvedre, Grenache all bring on the heat. So they have more of the west-facing slopes and southwest-facing slopes. Petite Syrah comes out last. So for frost protection, that went into the lowest spots, and those also tend to be better soils. And Petite Syrah is petite in the sense of vigor, so it needed that better soil. So everybody had a reason to be in the place it was.